In the vastness of the Pacific, during one of the most turbulent chapters of World War II, a single American ship did the unthinkable. While Japan relied on stealthy submarines to monitor and ambush U.S. forces, one destroyer escort turned the tide. This is the story of the USS England, the ship that hunted and destroyed 6 enemy submarines in just 12 days. It's a tale of courage, intelligence, and deadly precision. How did one modest vessel pull off what entire fleets struggled to do? Let's dive in. May 1944. The Imperial Japanese Navy was losing its grasp on the Pacific, and Admiral Somu Toyoda needed every edge he could get. Japan's submarines, silent predators of the ocean, were crucial to gathering intelligence and stalking U.S. forces. But then, something began to go terribly wrong. One by one, these steel leviathans started vanishing, without distress calls, without survivors. Within just a week, 5 submarines had disappeared. Japan was confused and deeply alarmed. It wasn't just a loss of war machines, it was a blow to their eyes and ears across the Pacific. No one could explain what was happening. Had the Americans developed a new technology? Were they cracking Japanese codes? Or was it simply luck? The truth was far more chilling, and it was just getting started. Before the USS England ever fired a shot, her name carried the weight of heroism. Ensign John C. England was a young officer barely 20 years old when he arrived in Hawaii in 1941. Just days into his assignment, Pearl Harbor was attacked. As bombs rained down and chaos erupted, England was stationed aboard the battleship USS Oklahoma. When the ship began to capsize, he escaped. But instead of running to safety, he went back. Not once, but 3 times. He dove into the sinking vessel to rescue his trapped crewmates. On his 4th return, time ran out. He never came back. His courage and sacrifice would not be forgotten. The U.S. Navy would later name a new Buckley-class destroyer escort after him, the USS England. It was a name destined to make history. As the war pressed on into 1944, Japan launched Operation Ago, a last-ditch strategy designed to halt the advancing U.S. fleet. Their plan was to scatter submarines across a 200-mile-long stretch of ocean, known as the NA Line. These vessels weren't just meant to attack, they were scouts, tasked with detecting the approaching American armada and relaying critical positions back to Japan's command. It was a dangerous but necessary move. With their surface fleet battered and their air power waning, Japan put its faith in the deep, silent stalkers of the ocean. What they didn't know was that the plan was already compromised. American cryptanalysts, already experienced from breaking Japanese naval codes at Midway, were at it again. Intercepting encrypted communications, U.S. codebreakers decrypted the NA Line strategy and passed the intelligence to the Pacific Fleet. What followed was a brilliant counterattack. Rather than wait for the submarines to make the first move, Escort Division 39 was dispatched. Its mission: hunt down the Japanese subs before they could complete their surveillance. Among the group was the USS England. She wasn't the biggest ship, nor the most famous, but she was about to earn a reputation that would echo across oceans. The USS England wasn't just lucky, she was lethal. And part of that lethality came from a new weapon called the Hedgehog. Developed by the British and adopted by the U.S. Navy, this system fired a pattern of 24 small forward-launched bombs that only exploded on contact. Unlike depth charges, which were dropped behind ships and often based on guesswork, Hedgehogs could be aimed precisely and detonated only when they struck a submarine's hull. That meant less noise, less wasted effort, and more kills. The USS England's crew trained hard with the new system. When the time came, they were ready, not just to fire, but to hunt with precision. On May 19, 1944, the USS England made contact with its first target, the Japanese submarine I-16. This wasn't just any sub. I-16 had seen action at Pearl Harbor. Now it had been deployed for Operation Ago. Sonar picked up faint pings in the water. The chase was on. The England's sonar operator tracked the submarine's every maneuver, while the captain kept the ship steady in pursuit. The Hedgehog system was armed, and within minutes, the sea erupted with the thud of explosions. Moments later, wreckage and oil rose to the surface. The I-16 had been hit directly and destroyed. The U.S. Navy confirmed the kill, and Japan unknowingly lost one of its critical scouts. For the USS England, it was just the beginning. In the days that followed, the USS England proved she wasn't just lucky, she was deadly consistent. She moved from one sonar contact to the next, expertly tracking and closing in. The Hedgehog system fired in perfect rhythm with sonar updates, creating a seamless cycle of detection and destruction. On May 22nd, she sank I-18. The next day, I-20. Then I-16, I-364, and I-184 followed. Each encounter was tense. Each sub tried evasive tactics, from sudden depth changes to sharp turns, but England's crew adjusted, predicted, and fired. No one could have predicted such an outcome. 6 submarines sunk in 12 days. The ocean had become a graveyard, and the USS England was the architect. Back in Tokyo, alarm bells were ringing. The Imperial Navy couldn't understand what was happening. Submarines weren't just being lost, they were vanishing without any clear enemy confrontation. Commanders feared a new Allied weapon or that their movements were being spied on. The psychological blow was massive. Submariners feared deployment. Communications officers questioned encryption. Confidence in Operation A-Go crumbled. The United States had turned Japan's secretive edge against itself, and the name USS England began circulating in fearful whispers among Japanese command. No other ship in U.S. naval history, not a battleship, not a cruiser, has ever matched the anti-submarine streak of the USS England. Her 12-day run became the stuff of legend. But what made her so successful? It wasn't just the Hedgehog weapon, it was discipline, training, coordination, and leadership. Her sonar operators were the best. Her weapons crew responded instantly. Her captain made bold but calculated decisions. In a war filled with chaos, USS England stood out as an example of how preparation and innovation could achieve the extraordinary. After her historic campaign, the USS England continued to serve, but would never again see such intense action. She was later hit by a kamikaze in May 1945 and had to be repaired, then decommissioned shortly after the war. A second ship named USS England was commissioned during the Cold War, honoring the same legacy. But for the sailors who served aboard, the original, and the historians who study naval warfare, the name USS England is forever tied to one of the greatest submarine hunting operations of all time. Her story remains a testament to bravery, precision, and the human edge behind war machines. The USS England's journey isn't just about sinking submarines, it's about how one crew, on a relatively small ship, changed the course of a campaign. It's about breaking expectations and rewriting what was possible. If you were inspired by this story of determination and tactical brilliance, give this video a like and share it with someone who loves hidden WW2 history. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories from the deep, the battles that raged beneath the waves, and the heroes who fought them. Until next time, keep exploring the forgotten war fronts of history.